Alright, so before I begin the video, I wanted to remind everybody this information, well, this book that we've gone over, something Benjamin Franklin said that we need to really pay attention to, right? So the book is called Observations Concerning the Increase of Mankind, Peopling of Countries by Benjamin Franklin. All right, Benjamin Franklin wrote this, all right? This is from 1755.
So on page 10, Benjamin begins talking about the immigration problem that he sees with the Germans. And as so he puts it, why should the Palatine Boers, right? He's like almost calling them Moors, but Palatine Boers, almost like pigs, boar, be suffered to swarm into our settlements and by herding together establish their languages and manners to the exclusion of ours? Why should Pennsylvania, funded by the English, become a colony of aliens who will shortly be so numerous as to Germanize us instead of our Anglifying them? They're going to Germanize us? What do he mean by them? And will never adopt our language or customs any more than they can acquire our complexion. You see, he's saying they're not our complexion. Who? German, the Palatine Boers, or Moors? Boers, calling them pig Moors, Boers. And he's going to explain the complexion of the Germans right now. Pay close attention.
Point 24, which he's making, observations, right, he's given. Which leads me to add one remark, he says, that the number of purely white people in the world is proportionally very small. It's very small. You're the minority. All Africa is black or tawny. Asia chiefly tawny, all right, tawny, a darker complexion, right, not white. America exclusive of the newcomers, wholly so. All right, what is that saying? America is what? Black or tawny, wholly so, except the new people, the newcomers, meaning that the aboriginals that were already there is wholly what? Black or tawny. All right, Benjamin Franklin, you know. And in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, Swedes are generally of what we call swarthy complexion. Swarthy. All right, just in case you don't know what swarthy is, just a quick reminder, we're here in the American Dictionary of the English language. All right, this is actually Webster's 1828 dictionary. All right, I got the official PDF. We're gonna go all the way to the word swarthy. All right, and right here it says swart, right? Almost sounds like steward. Swart, steward, swart, steward. Is that what they get the steward? Did it mean black or dark? What is swart? It says being of dark hue, moderately black, tawny, swarth. All right. Down here it says swart, to make tawny or brown. Swart, an apparition. Swartly. All right, duskly with a tawny hue. It says swartness, tawniness, a dusky or dark complexion. Dark complexion, all right? Dark complexion, swarthy. Being of a dark hue or dusky complexion. Tawny. In warm climates, the complexion of man is universally what? Swarthy or what? Black in warm climates. Is there only warm climates in Africa? No, we have warm climates all over the world, right? The Moors, Spaniards, and Italians are more swarthy than the French, Germans, and English. This says their swarthy hosts would darken all our plains. Swarthy. All right, black, as the swarthy African, it says, right? As the swarthy African. So the African is swarthy, right? Swarthy is a tawny color. Swartish, somewhat dark or tawny. Swarthy, tawny. All right? So you get the picture, right? Swarthy. So an African is swarthy, right? Black, right? So again, he said, Benjamin Franklin, that in Europe, the Spaniards, Italians, French, Russians, French, Italians, Spaniards, and Swedes are generally of what we call a swarthy complexion, black complexion, as are the Germans. So is the Germans. So is the Germans. Swarthy complexion, Germans. So is the Germans. Swarthy complexion.
It says origin of the Anglo-Saxon race, a study of the settlement of England and the tribal origin of the Old English people, by the late Thomas William Shore, author of a history of Hampshire, etc., honorary secretary, London and Middlesex Archaeological Society, honorary organizing secretary of the Hampshire Field Club and Archaeological Society, edited by his sons T.W. Shore and L.E. Shore. All right, this is from 1906. We're all the way in chapter 6. It says Rugians, Wends, and tribal Slavonic settlers. Now it says here that the name Wends was given by the old Teutonic nations of Germany to those Slavonic tribes who were located in the countries east of the Elbe and south of the Baltic Sea. It isn't the same as the older name used by Ptolemy, who says that the Wendnedae are established along the whole of Wendish Gulf. Tacitus also mentions the Venedi. There can therefore be no doubt that these people were seated on the coast of Mecklenburg and Pomerania before the time of the Anglo-Saxon settlement. That there were some differences in race between the Wends of various tribes is probable from the existence of such large tribes among them as the Wiltzi and the Obodriti, who in time of Charlemagne formed opposite alliances, the former with the Saxons, the latter with the Franks. The Wends who still exist in Lower Saxony are of a dark complexion. They're of a dark complexion and are the same stock as the Sorbs or Serbs of Servia. The existence of separate large tribes among the Wends is probable evidence of racial differences, and the alternative names they had are probably those by which they were known to themselves and to their neighbors. The remnant at the present time of the dark complexioned Wends of Saxony, who called themselves Sorbs, all right, shows that there must have been some old Wendish tribe of similar complexion from which they are descended, as the country anciently occupied by the Wiltzi included Brandenburg and the district around Berlin. It joined the limits of ancient Saxony on the west. There can be no doubt about the important influence which the old Wendish race has had in the northeastern parts of Germany and transmitted to their descendants a more brunette complexion than prevails among the people of Hanover, Holstein, and Westphalia, of more pure Teutonic descent. Some of the darker Wends may well have been among the Black Vikings, all right? Black what? The Black Vikings referred to in the Irish annals. Black Vikings, all right? The probable connection of the Wends, some tribes of whom which are the Sorbs, are known to have been dark, with parts of the Germany near Brunswick and with parts of Herts and Bucks is shown by these names. All right, and this is the Journal of the Anthropological Institute of Great Britain and Ireland, volume 17 from 1888. The Slavonic type, brachycephalic with a short face, short stumpy nose, and little beard. This is the Turco-Tatar or Ugric type. To this type belong the lower classes of Bavaria in southern Germany, who are brachycephalic and dark, while the upper classes are dorscephalic, tall and fair.
All right, and this is what we're going to get into, what it says right here. I brought that to the translator, and it says medieval German coat of arms. All right, medieval German coat of arms. All right, I now bring you to this beautiful image right here, the drawing, this family crest. All right, what we see here, a so-called black queen, a Swarthy queen. This is from Germany. This is another family crest, shield. This is the words right here, if you can interpret it. As you can see, we're going to go into this book. It says Book of Messengers of the Brotherhood of St. Christoph and Malberg. It says the owners of the Royal Bavarian Order of the Knights of St. George, huh? Just want to show you this one. Look at this one. Wow. And with the feather, again, these feathers look like the ones you see in the Egyptian hieroglyphics. All right, but who'll be rocking the feathers? All right, who'll be rocking the feathers, huh? I'm going to go into this book now. It says Principal Book of the Brotherhood of St. Christopher in Alberg, the manuscript weighs 242, State Archives, Vienna. That's what it says here in case you can read it. But there you go. All right, you see that? All right, and this is another image we got right here. As you can see, this is the coat of arms. So Swarthy, that's what it says, in case you can read it. This is another one, very cool one right here. Let me just close up. Now, as you can see, there's 3 of them here. There's only one of them has a person. All right, look at that. Look what we find here. These are the words, just in case you want to interpret it, if you can.
All right. And look at the shield. Look at the family crest. Who's that right there? Look at that. All right. Coat of arms, Germany. Look at this. Look at that. Who is that on the shield? Black royal noble family, so-called black, right? These ain't no slaves, and it's conjecture for you to say they're African. You got to prove that part. Look at this right here. Look at that. Right? Who's that right there?
All right, what this is showing these wild, pale-skinned people, wild, right? And they come in to invade this castle, which is filled with swarthy, dark-skinned, melanated people, all right, of dark complexion, all right, or so-called black Europeans in their castle, all right. You can look that up. All right, so I wanted to show you the actual tapestry zoomed in. All right, so like I was saying, I wasn't kidding. So it shows a bunch of pale-skinned people, right? Look like wild men. They got some kind of tattoos or whatever on, and they're trying to invade this castle right here. All right, so you see, these are melanated people. You see their complexion. Look at that. Look how they're dressed. Look at that bow and arrow. Bow and arrow. Who has bow and arrows? All right, so you see up here in the windows. All right, you see down here, so you can see. See up here in the windows, you see? Dark complexion people, right? Swarthy Germans. This is in Germany. They're getting their castle invaded.
A South German tapestry. This is from the Bulletin of the Museum of Fine Arts, Volume 56, number 303, pages 5 to 13 plus 15 to 17, 12 pages. The subject of the tapestry, startlingly at variance with the subjects of other tapestries in the museum's collection, present an enticing iconographic puzzle. Beginning at the left-hand end of this long, narrow strip of tapestry, probably intended to hang above a row of benches, we follow the actions of strange bearded men, clothed in handsomely styled renderings of the traditional hairy covering of the mythological wild man. Armed with stones and branches, the wild men approach a moated castle defended by dusky Moors, dark complexion, so-called black Moors, dusky Moors, all right? So who is the wild man? And who is the ones in the castle? All right, pay attention. From the upper windows of the castle, the king and queen watch the approaching horde. The attackers, in contrast to the dark-skinned defenders, all right, again, in contrast to the dark-skinned defenders are giants. This is Wild Men in the Middle Ages, a study in art, sentiment, and demonology by Richard Bernheimer, Harvard University Press. Right, so I wanted to go to page 147, is where they mention the tapestry we're talking about today. And it says here, there are in one tapestry only hairy wild men assailing blackamoors, including a black king and queen, and a black queen. And in